Welcome to True Brand Gamer. This week we are exploring some of the most talked about games to the most anticipated releases and everything in between, because this year we're getting 5 completely different experiences that almost feel like 5 different philosophies of play, and when you line them up side by side, the contrast becomes the story. You have an assassin defined by precision and ritual, a desert epic shaped by prophecy and politics, a sci-fi extraction shooter built on tension and calculated risk, a high-speed pursuit driven by machinery and momentum, and finally, open roads stretching through Japan, where freedom becomes the entire point. Number 1. John Wick. The upcoming untitled John Wick game embodies what the original franchise perfected. The films were never about chaotic shootouts. They were about choreography, about intention, about a man who moves through violence the way a surgeon moves through a procedure. If the game captures that spirit, then every game mechanic has to reinforce discipline, limited ammunition, tight corridors, enemies that pressure your positioning rather than simply overwhelming you. Narratively, the power of a John Wick story is that it doesn't revolve around saving the world. It revolves around surviving a system that already exists. The high table, the continental, the coded rituals of the underworld. These aren't fantasy inventions thrown in for spectacle. They're structures that give the violence weight. You're not a superhero, and you're not a chosen one. You're a professional navigating consequences. That intimacy makes the stakes feel personal, and because they're personal, they hit harder. Number 2, Dune Awakening. The Dune game shifts from personal survival to generational power. Dune is vast and ideological. Arrakis isn't just a setting. It's an ecosystem that shapes religion, politics, warfare, and destiny all at once. Water scarcity informs culture, spice production dictates economics, and prophecy manipulates entire populations. In game form, that means survival systems won't just be background mechanics, they'll define your decisions. You aren't simply fighting enemies, you're navigating factions, managing resources, and respecting an environment that can kill you faster than any soldier can. Sandworms aren't boss fights in the traditional sense. They're reminders that nature outranks ambition. And at the center of it all lies the question Dune always asks: is power inherited, earned, or engineered? Number 3. Marathon. Marathon takes Bungie's legacy of tight gunplay and places it inside a structure built on risk. Set on Tau Ceti 4, a lost colony layered with mystery, Marathon doesn't hand you a heroic arc. Instead, it drops you into a hostile loop where survival depends on judgment. You enter as a runner, augmented, replaceable, chasing loot and answers, and your goal is simple on paper. Get in, secure resources, get out. But simplicity breeds tension, because every choice carries weight. Every encounter could cost you everything you've collected, and every other player is operating on the same desperate calculus. Do you push deeper for better rewards, or do you extract early and live to fight again? That internal negotiation becomes the narrative. The story isn't just told through environmental lore or cryptic logs. It's told through loss, through greed, through the moment you realize you stayed 10 seconds too long. Number 4. Horizon Hunters Gathering. Horizon Hunters feels like the embodiment of momentum. Whether it leans into mechanical combat, vehicular warfare, or large-scale mechanical pursuit, its identity seems rooted in the thrill of the chase. Here, the world isn't something to survive cautiously. It's something to dominate aggressively. Wide environments encourage speed, customization systems encourage specialization, and combat rewards forward motion rather than hesitation. There's a primal satisfaction in pursuit, in locking onto a target and closing the distance, and that energy sets apart Horizon Hunters from the other combat versus games. It's kinetic, it's mechanical, it's about pressure applied continuously until something gives. Number 5. Forza Horizon 6. Forza Horizon, set in Japan, changes the tone completely. Not because it lacks depth, but because its depth comes from freedom rather than conflict. Japan as a setting carries enormous cultural weight in automotive history, from neon-lit urban expressways to winding mountain roads, and that duality between city and countryside gives Horizon 6 a natural rhythm. You might be drifting through tight mountain switchbacks under a light rain, the road reflecting street lamps like liquid glass. Or you might be blasting down a highway at midnight, engine echoing against concrete barriers while the skyline glows in the distance. There's no looming tyrant and no extraction timer ticking down. Instead, there's space to tune, to experiment, to express. That's what makes it such a strong closing note. Because after navigating Assassin's codes, imperial politics, alien tension, and mechanized hunts, Forza Horizon 6 reminds you that games don't always have to be about surviving pressure. Sometimes they're about choosing your direction and enjoying the motion. The progression system, the festival atmosphere, the rival crews, they're all there, of course, but the real story is the one you build in your garage and on the road. When you step back and look at these 5 games together, what stands out isn't genre diversity, it's emotional range. Discipline, destiny, and freedom, all coexisting in the same release window. And maybe that's the most exciting part, because depending on the week, or even the mood you're in, you could be the assassin who never misses, the strategist shaping the fate of empires, the mercenary weighing every gamble, the hunter applying relentless pressure, or the driver carving silent lines through mountain roads at midnight. Gaming isn't moving in one direction. It's expanding. And the fact that we get to move with it, sometimes carefully, sometimes aggressively, and sometimes at 200 miles per hour, is what makes these moments feel special.